As a youth, we have opportunities that are untapped and need to be developed by we ourselves. And that is why today on our Tomorrow Leader Show, we are hosting one and only Brian GITHINJI to discuss the role of the youth in economic and political struggle in Africa. Bwana Brian GITHINJI, welcome to our show today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the show. As you have said, my name is Brian GITHINJI. I'm a graduate of the Jomo Kenyatta University. I studied mass communication in the university, but most importantly, when I was studying in the university, I undertook so many leadership capacities, but that's different from the archetypal political students' council. So basically, I was involved so much in the clubs. I served in the Integrity Club, in various positions, in the Debate Club, and most importantly also, I was part of the team that reviewed the constitution, because before we joined, there was no constitution for the Students' Union. So we reviewed, we drafted a new one, and then we oversaw the implementation in the earlier stages. When I finished school, I worked briefly as a journalist at CNBC Africa. Then I left. I've also done a bit at Focus Television. And now, like millions of young people around the world during this pandemic, I would say I'm freelancing.
Freelance is a good thing for us, especially in this career.
Absolutely.
You've been involved in so many leadership positions at the university level. Why didn't you think of being maybe a minister of the university or the president of the university? What made you not go for such positions?
You know, there's this narrative in Africa that for you to make change, you have to be in a political position. But what we fail to understand is that strong institutions drive countries, not strong leaders. So I thought that let me be part of building institutions within the university instead of vying and being the president. Because I believe when you are the president, you don't make as much change as somebody who's leading and building the CEO, for example, or a club like the Rotaract Club. These people do much more in building the institutions within the university. So that's why I decided to join the different clubs, Integrity and Debate Club. And when I joined Debate Club, let me give an example. When I joined Debate Club, we were kind of successful, but we hadn't expanded our success to across the region. So in 2016, we were lucky, not lucky, but deserved. We participated in Rwanda at the 5th East African Community Inter-University Debate Championships, and then we won. And aside from that, we have participated in competitions across the region and we won. And because of that, many young people, many students of Jomo Kenyatta University have had opportunities to fly, to even visit the airport. How many young people can say they have ever been to JKIA? How many young people can say they have ever traveled across the country? How many young people can say they have ever interacted with their colleagues from other countries and measured their intelligence? But because of the institution we built, they were able to do that. Would they have done the same had I been the president or secretary general? Absolutely not.
Wow. I see in our position we share a lot, because my time back in university, I did a lot. But I never got interested in vying for any political position. But the change I made within the university is highlighted to that. People remember me because of the nitty-gritty things I did back then. So, what brings us here today is we want to know and share your insights on the role of youth in political and economic struggle in Africa or in Kenya. Where do the youth stand in terms of political alignment in Kenya? Your views.
So, to analyze the topic, you'll have to look at different aspects. So the first aspect is the youth make up the largest demographic across not even the country, but the continent. 70% of the continent is under the age of 35 years. So this is a mass that makes up also a large part of the voter base. So any politician who's coming up with new initiatives in order to reach out to other people must be able to account for this mass. That's why you find that these days, like when Jubilee and ODM vied in 2013, they had many proposals tailored for the youth, unlike when President Moi vied under Kanu in 1992. Because now the young people make up a large base of the voter base, so they have to cater for their interest. So that's the first thing. So the more the young people, it means that the more politicians, even if they're older, they'll be coming up with more proposals to reach out to the youth in order to get that vote. Also, the other issue is that naturally when there are more people, they'll tend to participate more in politics. And you have seen that in the country because progressionally, we have had more young leaders today in the parliament, in the county assemblies, in all the 47 counties in Kenya. And also, we have a prime minister in Ethiopia who's also youthful. And before that, we had the president of Madagascar. 40 years back, we didn't have that in Africa. So many young people are also taking up political positions across the region. And the other issue I would say in politics is that young people have become more engaged in civic society and in political parties and political campaigns. Why that's a good thing is because the more they engage in civil society, the more they'll be able to shape us to have a more democratic future, free and fair elections, more civic engagement, education of the masses when they go to vote, and that's a good thing. And more young people are doing it today than before. So those three issues.
Thank you so much. I'm enlightened to know more and go deeper into what struggle should be basically put in place to ensure that youth have a position in both Kenya, in Africa, to fight for their rights, to bring change, because change is brought by the youth.
Absolutely.
In Kenya, we can say that we're not being given enough capacity, enough positions to show our leadership skills. And yet, youth...
I beg to differ.
Yes?
I don't think that we haven't been given enough capacities because I'm always against equitable sharing of resources where you're just given positions because we need to have young people. Because according to the composition of the country, 70% of the people are youthful. So if these people, in fact, the old people should be talking to us, asking, can we have more positions for older guys? They should be saying that, but you don't have. Today in Parliament, the minimum age to vie to become an MP is 18 years. And that also is recognized as the age where you become a youthful person. So I don't think that there are no positions for the youth. I just think that the youth don't participate. And it has been shown, study after study, that young people don't go out and vote in large numbers, or they are not educated enough to vote for the right people, or they don't know what they're after.
What is your views on the aspect that youth are being used, always being used during times for elections to cause havoc, yet they don't vote?
Again, that's another narrative that has been shared a lot by the politicians in order to keep us divided.
Yes.
This is why. I don't think that many young people just wait for elections in order to cause havoc. Let's be honest. We have a problem of unemployment, we have a problem of lack of opportunities and lack of merit in the country. So money does not flow to the society and to the individual units in the society. Why that's a problem is because when elections come, the older people or politicians, even the youthful politicians, and there are a number but I don't want to name their names, they can use their money to go out, give young people like 50 shillings, 100 shillings, that's $1 or $0.5, and they can have these young people do anything they want, that is burn tires in the streets, cause havoc, kill other people, because they don't have any other opportunity. So when you give them that money, that little money, which they don't get any other time of their days in their lives, and they are hopeless, they are able to do it. Not because they want to be misused, but because of the realities on the ground, that the game has already been set.
Okay, wow. The likes of Julius Malema, Bobby Wine of Uganda, and others in Kenya, Senator Cleophas Malala among them, are fighting for positions of youths in the country. What do you think? Or in Africa?
It depends. I would like to remove one of them. Malema has good ideas. I tell you why. Because Malema is fighting for addressing the economic inequalities. The reason why, and I've always said, not all youth are disadvantaged in Africa. Let's just be clear. Because if you are a youth grown up in the 1%, the top in the society, that's the middle class or the elites. If you have grown up in a middle class family, a family that typically in Kenya would be earning between 45,000 shillings and 100,000 shillings per month as a family income, if you have grown up in that family, you are not disadvantaged. And we are also seeing it time and again. Because when you look at even in unemployment, many young people who get jobs are people who come from those families. So the problem is not about young people at disadvantage. It's that there is a large portion of young people who have been disadvantaged from time immemorial because of the economic inequalities entrenched by colonization, apartheid in South Africa, and the regimes that came after who entrenched it further, the dictatorial regimes or bad economic policies. So why Malema is different from the other leaders is because Malema's party, the economic freedom fighters, they are fighting for addressing the economic inequalities, to address the land question, to address the issue of education, the lack of good schools. You find schools in Cape Town are better off than schools in KwaZulu-Natal, for example. So fighting those things will ensure young people have equal opportunities. That's why he's a better leader, because he's not saying that I'm going to have 5 young members in the cabinet. Actually, things will not change if we have them and we don't address the economic inequalities, like what is happening in Ethiopia today. They have a youthful prime minister. He came from the Oromo tribe. For years, the Oromo tribe have been saying that we are disadvantaged, we are not in government yet, we are majority in the country, around 52% of the 115 million population of Ethiopians. Yes, they had a prime minister who's young, who's Oromo, ticks all boxes, but still the problems have remained 2 years later, because having somebody at the top position doesn't really guarantee that you will have change both economically and politically in your country and amongst the people who have been disenfranchised. But addressing the key issues, building strong institutions does. And many countries don't do it. Some politicians advocate for it. And those who advocate for it, we should give them more platforms to do it.
Platform is what is needed.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, what struggle should youth put forward, especially in Kenya, to ensure that they get enough hearing, they get positions to vote for their views as one?
Exactly what you're doing now. Exactly what you're doing now, because I believe that there are 3 pillars in the political dynamics of a country: the media, civil society, and I could say the academia to some extent. When you look at the media today, there are many young people who have been shied away by the mainstream media. The mainstream media meaning the 4 main media houses in Kenya. You don't find young people leading the shows, yet young people are the majority of the viewers. That's a problem. But they are being shied away by the mainstream media. So they have come up with their own programming, which they put on YouTube, which is a good thing. And you find that they even have more views than the mainstream media, only that we don't have adequate research to show it, but I believe so. And also the other issue that young people should do in order to take their space in society is, apart from being able to vote, they should utilize the academia. And the reason why I say academia is because you find universities give you a platform to become whatever you want to be, to set up your own club, to implement your own ideas. And I believe that that is where you can start implementing them, trying to educate the other students who are learned, because you are all in campus, to view things differently, to change the narratives, to participate in elections more. And once we do that, we can be able to change. Because all of us, we are in campus. And we can attest to this, that we have this problem that many people in campus feel that politics is not cool or it's a waste of time. But when you look, politics affects their situations that they are. They are complaining about the jobs, that they will not find jobs when they complete campus. But it depends with the political situation on the ground. It depends with the political leaders they will elect. So once we change the narratives of people starting in academia, in the media, the young people are already doing it, and civil society is picking up, then we are going to have it.
We're going to move a step forward. So what is the impact of the youth on economic impact in Kenya?
It's dependent, because in Kenya, okay, according to the statistics they release, the Kenya National Bureau of Standards, they say that agriculture is the main driver of the economy. And to be honest, I would say more of the older generation do agriculture. That's true. But that's where people get it wrong, because agriculture is not the archetypal farming. It also involves the value addition process, supply chains, procurement, etc. And that's where you find young people. So I believe that young people have a large impact on the economy, both as a participant, as a driver in the activities they do, and the SMEs, the small medium enterprises, which I believe you're also doing, and also I'm doing currently, in that the little businesses they do, they ensure circulation of money in the economy, and that is how they are creating impact on our economy today.
The role of youth in change, both politically and economically?
First of all, we are already changing, and even if we don't change, 10 years, 20 years to come, we'll have to change because the demographics of the country is shifting. So either if we don't choose to change, things will have to change naturally. Like the way we resisted democracy for a long time, but in the 90s we had to because across the world, changes were happening. So even if we don't change, change will happen. But the role the youths can have to change the societies today is, number one, by educating their fellow youths on the importance of taking part in the political processes in the country. That is voting, that is airing your opinion, and you should be supportive to people who do that on social media. People who create shows to challenge the narratives or to educate people about their political choices. People who do posts on Facebook, Twitter about it, we should be able to support them, not just liking photos shared by celebrities, etc., which happens a lot. Another thing that probably we should do also is we should support fellow young people in that we should buy products made by young people. Instead of like going and buying shoes from Bata, you can buy shoes from a young person who sells them via WhatsApp. That's also another way you can drive that change. Because when that person is empowered, he's able to take decisions that are good for the country, and you will not be at the mercy of the politician who's giving money. And most importantly, also, I would say, young people can, in order to be the change, they should take part in the electoral process themselves. That is, they should rise up, vie for the positions, they should not be scared, and they should count on the large majority of the citizens to give them that position, which young people like Babu we know have done successfully. You have also a couple of politicians, even in the county assemblies, they have done it successfully. Like the deputy governor of Kajiado, he's also an alumni of Mount Kenya University and is very young. And you would say Kajiado County is full of old guys, cultural stuff, Maasai. Yes. But he won because the demographics are shifting. So I believe young people should participate.
So at the bottom line is the unity of the youths is the driving change. Can I say that?
It's contentious to say unity because I don't like us dealing with people under a monolithic term, like the youth or Africans are like this, or blacks are like this, or whites are like this, because it tends to assign similar characteristics to everyone, which isn't the case. Like I shared with you earlier on, not every young person is being affected by the economic crisis or the political situation we are. Some of them are enjoying it. Some of them are part of that. So you can't really say that the unity of the youth is key. What I think is the education, the enlightenment, the awareness of the youth is key to achieving that change, not the unity.
Now, in your own opinion, has COVID-19 impacted economically, especially on the youths, or?
Of course it has. Of course it has, but not as much as in Western countries. And this is why. Because even before the pandemic came across, not many young people were employed. And even those who were employed, they were not salaried. And even those who were salaried, they were not under permanent and pensionable terms. So I don't think the effect has been much. I know people say that the unemployment rate is 13%, which is a lie, of course. Or probably they count the people doing SMEs and online jobs as well. But if you remove that, I don't think the pandemic has had an effect because it's only the salaried jobs. The SMEs are flourishing. The online jobs, people are doing it even now more than ever. So I don't think the pandemic has had much of an effect on youth here in Kenya. It could be different in an industrialized country in Africa like South Africa.
Okay. Now, as Brian, what are you going to do to ensure that you see a good political struggle, economic struggle in Kenya?
Keep doing what I'm doing, what I've done for the last 4 years. Participate in clubs and institutions, in volunteering, in campaigns across the community and the country where I come from. And in that, for example, I was the ESC Youth Ambassador for some time, East African Community Youth Ambassador for 2 years, where we set up ESC clubs in almost all the universities and colleges in Kenya. And most importantly, through the work that I do, as a journalist. Because as a journalist, the main thing that I always say is that I talk about an evolving Africa using the dynamics of the youthfulness in me. And that is enlightening the youth about how we should view the country, not viewing the country the way we have been made to by the mainstream media, by the narratives that we have grown up with, by the education system. And another key thing that also I'll continue doing is also challenging other young people to keep on supporting fellow youth. So if you have a young person who's like doing a drama, putting it on YouTube, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. It doesn't cost anyway.
Make sure you share.
It doesn't cost anyway. The same bundles you use to check in the updates of whether Chelsea has scored a goal or not. It's even less to just watch a video. Just click. Even if you don't want to watch all of it, just click so that it can be registered. Just subscribe. It doesn't cost much. You can follow today. You find people follow Jay-Z. Jay-Z doesn't even know where you live. But that young person may grow up one day, may even grow up, have a plot of land, have a car, and he may come and give you an opportunity. Jay-Z will never give you that for sure. He will never give you that. So I challenge people to continue supporting them, continue doing whatever I've been doing as a journalist, and continue participating in volunteering work in the community.
It has enabled me learn one or two things, and maybe I need also to go back deep into research and know so that I can concur with most of your insights, which are very good to the development and the struggle for political and economic struggle in Africa.
Absolutely.
And now as we wind up, it has been a good and exciting show. What word do you tell the youth out there? I want you to focus on this camera and tell the youths out there to come out and do what they're supposed to do.
Time is changing, Africa is evolving, and the dynamics of today are different from yesterday and will be different tomorrow. So my message to every young person here in Kenya and across Africa is continue doing whatever you are doing, continue educating and enlightening your fellow youths, and continue believing in yourself that you can be better and that your situations and environment will change tomorrow. And the main thing I would say is not only should you work hard, you should also be able to work smart, and you should be able to read and know about your continent and the reasons why we have the problems today is because of the mistakes we did in the past. And let us not repeat those mistakes in the future. Thank you.
We have discussed various issues on the impact and development of youth in Africa and Kenya at large. It is upon you as a youth to tap the opportunities available for you. Don't leave any. This has been your show, The Tomorrow Leader, where leaders are reborn. Like us on our Facebook page, follow us on our Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sauti Kweli Media. I have been your host, Stephen Opanda Malala. See you then.